All right, it's politics now, and we've got Chief Iwuantanwu here with us. He's the national chairman of Zenith Labour Party. Good morning, and thank you for joining us today. Well, straight away, just tell us, you know, you were very optimistic about the last elections and the performance of your party when we did ask the question. So what can you tell us now in terms of the performance of your party after the elections?
Good morning, Chamberlain. Thank you for having me. I must tell you that our party has become popular now. Recall that we are giving the certificate on a Thursday. On Friday, INEC ordered political parties to go for primaries. But the summary of what I will tell you without wasting your time is that the Zenith Labour Party will not be amongst the 80 political parties that will be deregistered based on the new amendments to the Constitution. And that was why we worked very hard. We left our domain. We went to various places, at least to pick a seat. We picked more than one seat. And by the time the political parties are deregistered according to law, which I'm sure INEC will do, we thank God, within a space of 2 months, we're able to pick some seats for the State House of Assembly.
About the National Assembly now, you've just seen the reports talking about the back and forth, about the leadership of those houses. What's your impression of how this is playing out? Do you think that we may just make the same mistake that, or we may see the same thing that happened previously occur again this time?
Well, ordinarily, the election of the leadership of the National Assembly, in this case, Senate and House of Representatives in Nigeria, should be the responsibility of all senators electing their leaderships from among themselves. But it's not the case in our climb. If you check since 1999, during a regime of President Obasanjo, they interfered with full weight on who became the Senate president, particularly the Senate president. And it was because of that overbearing attitude of the leadership of the country then in the executive, which should have allowed the Senate its freedom, that we had 5 senators of the Senate for that period of 8 years. It was just rolling over, until we got to the point where we had Senator Ken Nnamani, who more or less stabilized it, and senators said, okay, enough is enough, let us have a senator. And I think Ken Nnamani discharged his responsibility creditably and with integrity. And that was how you had that stability. Well, there is nothing wrong in a political party intervening in trying to influence its members who are senators in the election of the leadership. There's nothing wrong with that. What the national chairman of APC did, he did what he's supposed to do. But I may have to defer respectfully that he needed not to telegraph it. These things could be sorted out in caucuses, in different caucuses of the party, quietly. And you see the result of those meetings on the floor of the Senate after inauguration and during the election. I must say that when you speak with impunity and with some sort of arrogance and insisting that this must be done, some senators may think that you are touching their sensibilities, and they may be forced to do otherwise. But I don't suggest that they do that, because the person the party picked is a credible person. I am for Senator Ahmed Lawal. He's a very credible, knowledgeable, educated person. He has integrity. He's accessible. And if you go around the country, even when I was talking with many political parties yesterday, we agreed that Senator Ahmed Lawal should be and is the best for the job. So we should not do anything that will make us lose the best.
In what capacity did you do that? I mean, you're not in the Senate, you don't have members in the Senate, so how does that work?
Yes, we are talking about the president. We are talking about the president of the Senate. It's not president of a political party. So I can put my influence. I have many senators who are my friends. I've spoken to many of them, and they agree with me. So even though I have not produced a senator because of the newness of my political party, I am also talking to senators I have many senators across the parties that are my friends. And I'm trying to speak to them. And they agree with me that Lawal is the best. Lawal should be supported by everybody. He's educated and he's accessible. He's humble. Power doesn't get into his head. So we want somebody that will give the Senate a different leadership and that will pull all bills that will be for common good.
But
we
Senator,
want somebody that can listen.
You have a lot of people who also think Senator Ndume ticks all those boxes that you just highlighted. So why not him?
Well, I don't want to. Senator Ndume is also my friend. He's an old senator. He is experienced. But you see, there are certain things you look inside the soup. You see, when you want to eat and it's a chicken soup, where I come from, there is a particular thing you have to look inside that soup. And that thing I'm looking inside that soup, I have seen Lawal there. So Lawal is in a better position to drive the 9th Senate. But, you see, political parties, you asked me a question as to why or how they should not box themselves. Yes, PDP has its own senators. And if you make the same mistake of dividing the House, it is possible that somebody else may be nominated on the floor of the House and PDP may give their votes en bloc. But I also don't see that to be possible. Because most of these PDP people, you know, another 4 years, it's not everybody that can endure hunger. Most of them are already lobbying for key committee positions. So I see that it will be very easier for APC to get more senators from PDP to support their interests than the other way around.
Well, you know, but
it will look as if most of them are now.
When you speak about surviving hunger, some of those states have state governors as well. They're in the Senate, as well as those of the other political parties. So how will they be hungry if they're all elected on equal basis? But speaking about which, is there anything wrong if the party had chosen a particular person as preferred to head to the Senate? Because Senator Ndume also says he's consulted widely. He doesn't think that the president supports the fact that they handpick one person and anoint him as the Senate president, or not Senator's president, not Senate president, he said. So he wasn't even approached. Custody demands, according to him, that they let him know that this is party position, but none of that was done. It was almost, in his words, if I could remember, just thrown in his face. Would that be a good approach?
Yes, I was talking about enduring hunger, not surviving hunger, enduring hunger. Anyway, there is nothing wrong in Ndume contesting, but he has to look at the overall interest of the party. The party wants to take control of the leadership of the National Assembly so that everything will be put squarely on its leg. He may have consulted, but it is also left for the senators to look and check who amongst these. His Excellency Goje is also interested, but he has not come out like Ndume. I'm not in PDP, I'm not in APC, I've never been in any of those parties. But I'm looking at the candidates as a patriot, as a Nigerian. Who amongst these candidates can strike that balance, can give that leadership with integrity and honor? I think most Nigerians will tell you Senator Lawal, without prejudice to the right of my very good friend Ndume from contesting. Everything will be sorted out in the Senate. But I think most patriots will look at it that way. He look at his credentials, look at his educational. You see, education makes me take certain decisions that most people would not find. When one is educated, you can discuss with him. You can have intellectual discussion with him. He will listen. It's opposite of somebody who doesn't have a requisite. I'm not saying this for Ndume. Ndume is also educated and qualified. But I'm looking at the credentials of the man I am marketing and other people are marketing.
What happens now to Senator Ndume? Because he has said, as far as he's concerned, his throne is he's going to go in and fight for that position.
Well, you see, that is the issue with politicians. He has the right to continue, but I think the party may have to speak to him, give him assurances. He is a stable senator. He has been consistent, and I see him winning the election over and over again. But for this position of the Senate President, most Nigerians, including myself, will prefer Senator Ahmed Lawal. We are preferring him because
the voting is going to happen on
the
voting is going to happen on the floor of the Senate, not where Nigerians are. So because he also spoke about, he has some senators who have told him, go, we are with you on this one. What happens to those senators as well? So this is a game.
Yeah, you see these things. Everybody will tell you different things. But when you get to the house, you may see a different ball game. It's like all we have seen through these elections, violence, problems. Most people were assured victory, but on the day of the election, they discovered that they have to get it by force. They have to get it by force. They announce me and then let them go to court. You can see it yourself. So in politics, what you may decide may not be what you see when you get there. I am aware of a lot of things that happen. Maybe I'm digressing now, but it's also important to say it. You see, politicians are like that. You go, you do your calculations, you say it is right when you get there, but you have to plan how to disrupt, how to maim, how to kill, as in the case in Rivers, as in the case of other places. So you can see, Chamberlain, that it is not right for us all the time to insist that we must be the one. And let me use this opportunity since I have brought this issue. The madness that took place in Rivers. The madness that took place in Rivers. My party was approached to be used the same way AAC is being used 2-3 days before end of substitution. I said no, Zenith Labour Party will not be part of it because I knew that there would be bloodbath. There was serious pressure. There was mouth-watering offers. The party said no. I said no, I insisted. When the Supreme Court nailed the opportunity, I was still under pressure. I said, why do you need my party? And look at a party has elected to do that dirty job because of one man's interest. That is not the interest of APC. That is not the interest of the leadership of APC. It is the interest of one man. And that's why a lot of people have died. A lot of people have died in Rivers. On whose hands and head do you have those blood? It's on the hands and heads of those who caused the mayhem. It is clear before a blind man, before an unborn child, that there's nobody today in Rivers, living or dead, that will defeat Wike in a free, fair, credible election in Rivers. So why do you want to kill people in order to take it by force? Well, you are now deploying soldiers. You are now doing all sorts of things. That is unacceptable. Well, and it must be condemned in all its ramifications by the people of Nigeria.
If I take you back to the Senate, the position of the Deputy Senate President, that is also going to be very crucial because we've had Senator Orji Zakalo who is also saying, well, if they don't give me the Deputy Senate Presidency seat, I will vie for that Senate Presidency seat so that they know. He's putting them on notice now. What do you see happening? Because he also says, look...
well, they don't give Senate President or Deputy. They don't give it. You go and contest, lobby your colleagues, and they will elect you from among themselves. So it is not something that they will give you. You get to the house, you and Orji is a ranking member of the parliament.
But you didn't say the same thing about Senator Lawan. Couldn't he have gone to do the same thing for his colleagues rather than being anointed by the party?
No. You see, it is his case and that of Lawan is almost the same. The party has the right to take a position. You see, I told you about party supremacy. I have spoken about party supremacy. And at the time, my colleagues they started calling me party supremacy. Recall the time of MPN, when Adisa Meredith Augustus Akinloye was chairman of the MPN, and Suleiman Takoma was the secretary. In a meeting, at the time, you just see 2 seats on the high table. That is the chairman and the secretary. All others, including the president, would face the leadership of the party. He directs. The president might want to speak. He will say, no, Mr. President, let us speak. Party supremacy doesn't mean impunity. Party supremacy doesn't mean arrogance. Party supremacy doesn't mean telegraphing everything. Party supremacy means when the party position has been discussed in all its caucuses and there is a consensus at them. That is party position. Anybody that believes in that party will never go out of that decision. So if the party leadership has decided after due and proper consultation with everybody. You may not like it, but this is the position of the party.
Yeah, but
that is party supremacy.
But you know,
party supremacy doesn't mean you have to impose everything.